It is the day of days. It is patch day for Space Marine 2, and with that, we're going to be getting a new difficulty, a new map, and some fun stuff. So just to kind of give you my spark notes here, my too long didn't watch this entire video, what we get added are, what we have gotten added, are the new Operation Termination, the new difficulty Lethal. In addition to that, we had a number of big patch fixes as well as some nerfs. So the Tactical Auspex now does 30% less damage to bosses. I think that's a pretty good nerf so that bosses don't just feel burst down. Melta Bombs do 70% less damage to bosses now as well, but melee across chainswords, power fists, and combat knife all got stronger, and we saw a lot of fixes for a lot of the perks, such as Ascension for your assault. So if you were using that perk that allows you to do damage when you ascend, previously that would just kill you. That doesn't work like that anymore. It will no longer kill you. And a number of other tactical and sniper perks have been fixed that were not helping out with cooldowns, not helping out with a number of things. So that is the down and dirty of these patch notes. We did get a lot of tweaking when it comes to stuff with all of the colors that we can use in the game. So the colors have become a little more quote unquote lore accurate, like Mechanica Standard Gray and so on and so forth. But if that's all you wanted to know about these patch notes, that's all there is. I'm going to go through this whole entire thing, and I'm going to provide a link in the description below. So if you don't want to just read along rather than listening, you're more than welcome to. But let's get started here in patch 4.0 for Space Marine 2. All right, starting us at the top. New content with various tweaks and improvements. New Operation Termination. This new operation takes place on the planet Kadaku. New dreadful foes have arrived. Make good use of the artillery to annihilate them. That dreadful foe is right there, the Bile Titan. I don't know why websites do. We're going to do an embedded top bar. Then we're going to do an embedded navigational bar. And then we're going to have an embedded jump to the top bar because, that's great for UX. But whatever. Okay, cool. I got it. Things are just like, oh, did you want this information? As a heads up too, we will be streaming this. So right when this goes live, I'm going to just turn on the stream. We're going to test a lot of this stuff, test out lethal difficulty and a lot of things. This video is like 7-8 hours late. It came out at 2 or 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm trying to get this video out as fast as possible. So I apologize, guys, if you've already heard all this information. Added lethal difficulty for operations. Major highlights of it. Ammo crates have limited refills per player. Majoris enemies can become enraged and will be more deadly and harder to kill. I'm curious to see how this works, because this could be really annoying and actually end up pissing me off versus just simply, oh man, these Majoris are like a way bigger threat, right? Like we've all said that lethal difficulty, we don't want it to feel like a bullet sponge. And it definitely feels like what they've done is more scarcity of resources and crazier AI, which I kind of like the sound of. Armor restores from finishers only if you stay close to your battle brothers. So this has been one I've seen kick around in my own Discord. What does close mean? Does close mean just with one battle brother, or is it with is there a majority rules here, right? Like I'm with one guy, the guy who's out on his own, he doesn't get this benefit. So I will test this out to see if there's like a relative distance for it and what have you. Overcoming such challenges will grant you with new cosmetics. Yeah. Added a new photo mode in operations, which is probably the one thing I'm excited about as a content creator, because now I can take way better thumbnail pictures. Gameplay, and by the way, this only works when you're solo. But either way, I'm very stoked for it because we can finally get like pictures of our custom chapters. Gameplay and balancing tweaks, a lot of nerfs, a few buffs. So melee archetypes. Fencing weapons' perfect parry window will now have the same duration as balanced weapons, but it will start from the first frame of parry animation. So this realistically shouldn't necessarily be 100% of a debuff. Or I'm sorry, a nerf. What you should really think about it is, a parry does not parry until the actual parry animation starts. You press the button and the character kind of does like a weird finagle, and then they swipe their hand out for the parry or whatever it is. This is saying that animation for the parry with fencing weapons starts the second you press the button, versus with a balanced weapon, it starts when the actual animation hits. So this is me reading this and not actually having tested it. To me, this means that the parry window will work similar to a Dark Souls, where okay, if you press the button in line with when it's going to happen, it'll parry. Versus I'm going to press the parry button, but if my character doesn't complete the animation to actually start the parry, then I won't actually parry. So it means fencing weapons just have their window kind of moved. Rather than it being this whole encompassing window, the window is kind of tacked onto the animation itself. So we'll see how that works. I'm very curious to see if it feels like a nerf or if it feels tighter. If it feels tighter, that's fine, right? Tighter meaning that I can't really get cheesy with it, right? If I press the parry animation way too late and I got the perfect parry, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we'll fudge that one, huh? So we'll see how that feels. Melee perks, though, with the chainsword, power fist, and combat knife charge attacks perks get significant damage increase. So this means the power fist, charge fist, where they slams the fist on the ground, that has got a big significant buff in its damage. Basic Auspex scan bonus damage to bosses only is reduced by 30%. I think this is a really good one. Prior to patch 3.0, you could kill the Hive Tyrant with an Auspex scan and 1 melted bomb and 1 crack grenade. Now it takes a little bit more, but still that brings a significant burst into what should be a very challenging and fun fight. And I like that this isn't just a flat nerf to Auspex. It's a nerf to Auspex only on the boss. So I think that's very appropriate, and I really like that feel. Melted charge damage to bosses is reduced by 70% as well. Again, I could see this. I mean, everyone having melted bombs, you could do quite a bit of damage to the Hive Tyrant. We'll see how that feels with the Bio Titan. Enemy spawns director PvE, tweaked idle spawns. Enemy variety within waves is now less random, while enemy variety between waves is bigger. So hopefully this means a lot more fun when it comes to our waves, other than just kind of the same stuff over and over and over. Difficulty. So there's a big thing here I forgot to touch on in the intro. So Ruthless and Substantial both have had a tweak to their difficulty. So for Ruthless, ammo crates have limited refills per player, and players' armor is reduced by 20%. Substantial, it's only a reduction of 10%. So I like this. I think it's nice to take a little agency away from the player, because right now, or prior to this patch, Ruthless was not very difficult. And I'm glad that they didn't make Ruthless more difficult by simply adding more health or tweaking the spawns back to what they were. They even said right here, like, you know what, we made it way too easy. People weren't doing chaos operations before. Now they're doing chaos operations, but the mode's just a bit too easy. So I like that it creates resource scarcity on the player's part, so they have to play a little bit smarter. They have to be a little bit more accurate. They have to actually use their parries and dodges more accurately, rather than just simply make the enemies do more damage or take more damage. It's all relegated to you as the player to just be better at what you're doing. And I think that's a good way to balance the difficulty, rather than just playing with like percentage damage numbers and hoping you get it right. So I'm very excited for that. We'll see how that feels. Yes, Battle Brother, Ultramarine my shield off. PvP, increased delay between armor announcer messages and PvP. For the love of God, thank you. The starting animation of the grapple launcher for the Vanguard is shorter in PvP only, and fixed power fist in PvP, dealing too much damage with short charge attacks. For the AI, these two are pretty interesting. This one's pretty easy to understand. Rurik Marine with the bolt gun, disengage teleport, max distance is slightly reduced, so they won't go as far. But enemy dodges, the globally replaced full vulnerability on dodge moves of enemies with heavy melee damage resistance. So this is saying that any enemy with heavy melee damage resistance, so for example, a Tyranid Warrior, has had its full vulnerability replaced on its dodge moves. So I'm pretty excited to see how that feels, because sometimes you can get in these situations where they simply they juke you left and right, they dodge. It's like an and one mixtape, and you just feel like you're not doing anything. So I'm curious to see how this feels in actuality once you actually kind of get some teeth into it and get some playing into it. For customization, more options for color customization for Chaos. Basically, it's just tertiary colors getting added in, and then decal colors getting added in, Sotek Green and Corn Red. And then colors added Liberator Gold, thank God, to default for primary and secondary color palettes. Unfortunately, it's just like the worst gold in the game as it is. Fixed a lot of issues with display colors. Now they should be more lower accurate. So this is Mechanicus Standard Gray, Ushabti Bone, which should be, it's a little too dull right now, so this should be a little bit more of a yellowy white. Phoenician Purple is super saturated, so I'm seeing what they're going to do, what they've done there. The Fang, Rust Gray and Rune Fang Steel are like interchangeable. Rune Fang Steel has like a gloss, and the other ones don't, and they're all pretty much the same color. Iron Hand Steel was almost a black in the game, and that's hopefully been changed. And Retributor Armor was not really feeling very good, so that should be more of a yellowy gold. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. Decals added new Chaos Faction decals for the right shoulder, and levels I don't really know what this means. Disabled respawn until the... Oh. So Vox Apparatus Demon Host disabled respawn until the last altar in the final arena. I thought it was talking about the enemies spawning, but it's your respawn if you die. General fixes. This is the good juicy stuff. So fixed a bug where the assault perk Ascension could kill its owner. It will no longer do that. Targeted shot for the sniper wasn't always working in some cases, which is interesting because a lot of us, myself included, have all done this testing and these evaluations on all these perks, and we've all done build guides. It's on Reddit. It's all this. It's a significant amount of these are bugged. So it's nice to see that maybe some of our information was just completely off. So targeted shot will now work. Here's an interesting one for Bulwark. Fix an unintended animation cancel with the Bulwark by using the block, which resulted in faster attacks. I didn't know that was going to result in faster attacks. I would have figured that would have resulted in missed parries. So I'm curious to see how that one feels with Bulwark, since that's the one I main the most. Fix an issue with the tactical perk close targeting, not triggering properly, and fix tactical perk radiating impact, not triggering properly as well. So 2 real good changes there. Another sniper one, Guardian Protocol cooldown, not working properly as well. So all those have been changed, fixed, and actually working as intended. A nice one here with the Thunderhammer perk, Patience Rewarded description is now accurate with its actual effect, added when your health is below 30% part. So, overall, we've gotten quite a good buff to the things that we wanted buffs to. As far as like these bugs getting fixed, we got more bugs to play with in Termination. We've got a pretty significant gameplay and balancing tweaks for the melee archetypes. I really want to see how that feels with fencing weapons. And with melee perks, I really want to know how this is going to play out to make these weapons do more damage. Because Chainsword already felt amazing, but I'm curious to see. I think it's what Chainsword and Combat Knife is really talking about. It's talking about the 2 perks where you can hold it down to do significant damage. Combat Knife's, it's like Hidden Blade or something like that. And the Chainsword's one was the opposite option of the Stomp one, where you rev the Chainsword. Both of those just were not significant damage dealing things, and they were actually bugged in the Combat Knife's case. So I'm very curious to see how these two are going to play out. But go ahead and let me know in the comment section below, how are you feeling about these patch notes? No mention of the lenses. That looks like it's going to be coming in the next patch with the Dark Angels and the Volkite pistol. I know a lot of people were expecting it in this patch. I did not expect it in this patch. I was expecting that they said coming very, very soon is the operation with the new difficulty and the Biotitan. So I expected that this week. So hopefully we'll get the Dark Angels pack and the Volkite pistol, as well as the chance to swap out our eye lenses here before the month's end. Hoping that just comes 2 weeks from now, right at the end of the month, right there against, right on the 31st, right on Thursday. Because that seems to be when they do their patches, they're on Thursday. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Have you already played? What are your impressions? What are your thoughts? How are you feeling about this? And if you want, go ahead and check me out on Twitch, where I will be streaming this game right after this goes live. So you can find the link to that in the description below as well. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.